Welcome back to Our Healer, Our Protector podcast. I'm so grateful to be here by Ryan Reichert along with
Lisa Sander.
Absolutely. Super excited to be talking today. We're going to talk about reminding that God is not looking for perfect people. He's looking for willing ones. If you've ever been too broken or too flawed to be used, this one's for you. So looking at that aspect of being, the imperfect human, the imperfect Christian, just that aspect of, it's only two letters, right, in front of perfect. I am, and that's that aspect of we all are imperfect. And so today we're really going to look after that aspect of, being perfect about your purpose. And from there, not looking at it from such a way that it's, maybe the biblical aspect. And Lisa, I think, from that side of it, I'd love to get to know the side of where you see the perfect in your purpose.
The perfect in my purpose. I am so grateful for all of the stuff I've been through life, all the trials and tribulations, and I've never unwavered my faith in God. I am considered a yellow person, and if anybody knows what the color wheel is, it's rainbows, sunshine, and flowers, and everything's happy. And I actually have always been that way, but I've been through stuff. I've been through hard times that I have been on my knees and prayed to God. And this is for people out there. You ask, how do you get that? And how do you do that? And this is what our podcast, we want to help people figure that out.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's that aspect of when we look at ourselves as being perfect, we have to fit in that perfect bubble. Maybe it was our parents that said, boy, I wish you would have got all A's on your report card. I remember my dad, one time it was this aspect of basically where I ended up getting some B's on some tests and, it just broke me. It had this aspect of I had A's on all the quarters or whatever it was, but on the tests I got B's. And when I reflect back on that, it's this thing that I carried forward with me for so long into my military career. Anytime I took a PT test, then it was if I didn't get a 300, that was a perfect score. I was a failure. And so it's that, being imperfect in it. And today, through seeing how, you've had an ability in my life to help me heal, that massive wound that I had and, that God-sized hole that I've been able to fill with, my love for Jesus Christ today. And I just look at it now and go fail forward, being that imperfect Christian is what makes life perfect. And, I see it on how you've carried it every day into your nursing career and that purpose of healing inside the hospital, but also how you bring it home with friends, with family, with people that are in your life. You kind of talk about it, I think, at times you might be a Christian, or you might be trying to be more like Jesus Christ, but you might do something, you might cuss a little.
Yeah, I cuss a little.
So I think it's a country song or something too, but it's this aspect of being a born again Christian or whatever, however we want to look at it, or a child of God. And, maybe we'll have people out there that'll kind of look at us and go born again Christian, you cuss a little, it's yeah, I do a lot of things that aren't maybe what some people believe a true Christian is, but it's not so much maybe that, it's the how do we follow Jesus Christ? I mean, more like Jesus Christ because he never sinned.
Ryan, you are one of those people in the Bible that Jesus went towards. Jesus went towards all the imperfect people. And, they went through trial and tribulations fortunately, they lived 145, 150 years or longer in the Bible. I can't imagine that. But Jesus went towards people like you. And Jesus loves all of us, including all of you out there. And you get to start over every single day.
I mean, that's the beautiful thing of it. You're hitting on it here. And obviously I get the notes, so I'll go off the notes a little bit because this is perfectly imperfect. So Moses stuttered, David fell, Peter was denied, and God still chose all of them. And it's that aspect. He chooses all of us in everything we do. Even when we want to decide to color our hair I think I was, I don't know, maybe a junior year of high school, and I don't know if anybody ever remembers Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. But I was in Spain on a trip for school, Spanish class, and I thought it would be a great idea while I was there to get my hair bleached blonde. So it was blonde on top, brown on the sides, trying to be more like Wesley Snipes and Demolition Man. And when I came home, I think my dad might have said like nice hairdo or a haircut or whatever it may be. And I think I was proud in that moment. It was this aspect of like, because I could rebel, and I could make myself, or what I believe what perfect would look like, but to him it was maybe imperfect, right? And it's this aspect of, how do we look for others? Well, it's like, what are you feeling here? What do you feel in there when maybe you come across somebody in life and, it's like they try to put you in that box.
I've been a people pleaser my whole entire life, and being a nurse, that kind of comes along with it. I've always been a giver. So this is where I want to help people too, because I've become stronger. I know what the box that they put me in. Lisa's got this. Lisa can handle this. You know what? She'll do anything. So I can ask her. And you know what? I used to be that person. So people put me in the box, and I kind of put myself in the box. Oh, yes, please, can I do this for you? Because if I do this for you, everyone in the room's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay because you're okay. And now, you know what? I want to teach other people. It's time for you to be okay, so you can be okay with other people.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. I mean, it's something here that we really want to look at, like that shame aspect, like when my dad said nice hair, that undertone, that condescending aspect of like, somebody doesn't like what they're seeing and they kind of put you down. They shame you. And, this is where we look at like how grace calls us to step out of that and like basically smash the barriers, of the walls, the box, whatever it may be. I mean, we were on a show yesterday with Raheel, a Wall Breaker 200, amazing story. And I just think of this and I'm like, God's grace for all of us to like tell people with grace, with love, that it's not okay to put me in that box.
Exactly.
To question that. Like, are you wanting, to put me in that box? Do you feel that by putting me in that box that allows you to be bigger, that allows you to do less work, whatever it may be that we're trying to get at? And you don't run into those walls with like the emotion, just like you were talking about being a yellow person. For me, it's like, oh boy, is it blue? Is it red? Is it yellow? Is it green today? Whatever it may be. And I think as we have that emotional like maturity or intelligence, it gives us that ability to walk those lines, because every time that we're, in conversation with somebody else, it's that aspect of like, what are we mirroring? Like, I'm in a good mood today, right? So like, obviously you're going to be like, yeah, Ryan's in a good mood. I'm in a good mood. If I'm not, or vice versa.
By the way, you're lucky that you're always in a good mood. I'm lucky. Yeah. I'm always in a good mood, and you are too. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it starts with that aspect, right? If we are grateful for what we already currently have, it's that ability that it's very easy then to go to sleep being grateful. So then when you wake up, you're grateful. And then before you start your day, like you're grateful for that as well.
People, when you are not having peace in your life and you are going through something that doesn't feel right and it doesn't bring peace, that is telling you something. Yeah. Ryan, from the first day I met you, I felt peace. And I have been more inclined to bring people in my life that bring chaos. I function in chaos. And I thought that was just a part of life, and that's how I could heal. And being a people pleaser, that's who I thought I was meant to be with. And now that I found peace, you guys, find your peace, find your purpose. It is amazing. Life doesn't have to be chaos. And as everyone talks about your 6-year-old self, you can grow from that. And your perspective of how you were as a child. And it is so different when you can step back and look at it as an adult. I want to thank my mom and dad for being who they are. I have challenged them in their parenting. I call myself, I was a mom at an early age. I felt like I was parenting my parents sometimes. Sorry, mom and dad. But now the challenges that they put me through and the challenges that God has put me through, thank you so much. Because I would not be sitting here going after a podcast today and helping others. And I can tell you right now, I've got family and friends and some people that were a part of my family, and I loved all of them very much. And I know they're looking at me like, what are you doing? And watch, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the person I am meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the aspect of it. It's like, give me time. I'll show you how proud I can make you. I think that's the aspect where God uses our story, our scars, our trials, our tribulations, our struggles, whatever it is. It's that aspect of what's Pastor Kim say, the test and the testimony aspect of it. I mean, those are the things like, talking with Colin this morning, he was talking about it, naming his scars, that's why I have,
I love that.
Yeah, faith, hope, and love on the inside of, my right arm is that aspect of that's who I am. That was the 6-year-old self that I still have inside me, that today I can protect that 6-year-old that's still inside of here. And so knowing that, like, if I carry faith, hope, and love wherever I go in my life, I can breathe that into this aspect of it as we sit here in, lovely Las Vegas and this amazing suite. And what a studio. And, have that aspect to bring it forward and just be truly blessed in it and just take it in. And through our purpose, both of us, one being a healer, one being a protector, is how we want to help everyone out there when it comes to those two aspects, because, however you believe in things, if it's the science aspect, we're a nurse and a soldier, are here to be strong and heal and protect, but for us in our faith, it's, our healer and our protector, that he allows us, our God, to basically, walk each day in that light of grace and be strong enough to be your guys' voice until you capture your own. And, together we can all learn to be greater children of God is the way I look at it, and we utilize our stories. We name our scars, and give them beautiful names, inspiring names that, show that strength, that courage, that fire inside of us that we have, that just allows us to propel ourselves into tomorrow, but focus on today. You know?
And I have to say this, things come to me in threes, and I hung on to it for a long time. It took me 3 times to pass my driver's test, and people are probably still wondering if I should have passed my driver's test, but I haven't had a ticket in a very long time, and I do just fine driving. It took me 3 times, I can say this with strength, it took me 3 times to pass my nursing board. I've been a nurse for 24 years, and I am very proud, and I'm very proud of my profession. There's been other moments of 3 times, and Ryan, you are my 3rd time. I want everyone out there to find their 3rd time, or maybe it's your 6th time. Whatever that may be, find it. God shows you, and I thank you, God, for making me be humbled. I thank you, God, for giving me challenges. People say it's not good if you don't have regrets in life, but I really don't have regrets. And I look at it as a positive thing, because thank you. I am so grateful for all the stuff that I've been through and the challenges and being hurt down to my core that has brought me to my knees. And if I have never been brought down to my knees, I would not be sitting on here doing our podcast together and being here with you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. But the aspect of it is, it's all those lessons have prepared you, allowed you to survive.
Yeah.
And if it's qualified you, like we go back, Moses, David, Peter, like Daniel, everyone was actually being qualified,
Yeah.
Like it's that aspect of like going through, that 6-year-old self, like disqualifies ourselves because we don't know. We just want to be loved,
Everybody wants to be loved.
We want to be warm, dry, and safe,
Accepted.
Protected.
You are beautiful just the way you are.
Yeah, we all are, right? We all are that child of God. And it's that ability for all of us to truly come into our own and our purpose, like we talked about in the beginning, being that imperfect Christian, being that imperfect mother, that imperfect father, that imperfect son, daughter, whomever we are, but I am, perfect at the end of the day because we are imperfect.
Yeah.
And that's all we can do. That's all we can hope for as we grow. We learn from our mistakes. And, I love the aspect how you brought up, just purely looking at it from that time of regrets, like where it's, if you're looking at it, that it's always a lesson, you should never have a regret because you're learning from it and you're growing from it.
I don't know if it was me or just having an old soul, that in my unwavering faith of God, I have never doubted him, even as a young child. And, my parents brought me to church. All my grandparents believed in God, my family members, and we had a very open dialogue about it. And believe me, there's a lot in my family. Like, there's not a perfect family out there, even when it looks good on social media or whether in public. But inside, there's hurt in each family. And if you don't have a family, choose your friends. Your friends are family too. I have family friends.
Well, I think like the biggest thing you're probably looking for is the truth will set it all free.
Yeah.
It's that aspect of, as we really see ourselves and like where we look at it from that perspective of being imperfectly perfect, is if we just tell the truth.
Yeah.
That imperfection like ends up becoming the greatest thing there is.
It's time to be fearless. It's okay to have those hard conversations. When you run away, nothing gets solved. When you can actually look at somebody and say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with this conversation, but I'm willing to have this. And if we can let our guard down, because really, truly, does anybody want to hurt somebody? When you've been hurt, you just want to be heard, you want to be seen, and you want to be able to tell your truth. And you can agree to disagree, but to get an understanding of having that connection and giving each other their perspective and forgiving each other can go a long way. And it can give you purpose. And sometimes people aren't meant to be with you.
Yeah, it's that aspect to me of like where we tell ourselves these lies too, right? Like, if I don't want to hurt you, so I'll tell a lie, right? And what good does that do? Because it just, if we could move the chairs as we're on camera here, every lie that you tell, you distance yourself. You go to a corner of the room, it's dark, it's not warm, dry, and safe. There isn't love there. And you get further and further away from God's grace and that light. And that's where we find ourselves spinning out of control. For me, if we were to go down this realm, this is, obviously what really forced me in the bottom of a bottle and, looking at prescription drugs to heal my pain. This week, I have not been able to say prescription drugs, which is an amazing thing because I don't take those anymore. And it's a blessing. But I believe in that truth always. That's what brings the person closer together, or the people closer together, or those relationships. It breaks down those barriers, those walls. That box is no longer there. And you can go about life and just create amazing relationships. And that's what it's all about. It's this connection here where, you form it over time and space with a bunch of people. And if your tribe is not connecting the dots, you need to find a new tribe. I think that's what we see day in and day out. And, as we grow, it becomes this, imperfectly perfect connection with many people that are meant to be in our lives.
Talking about that and wrapping things up, all in all, our podcast is to help all of you, to help you impact your life, to make a difference in what you do and how you affect other people, because how you affect other people affect you. You give more out life, like Jesus says, you'll get 10 times fold back. The more you give out, the more you're going to get back. And we want to do that for you. So we want to give you more so you can give back to others and get more for yourself.
Yeah, I think the bottom line here is we were hoping to get at is God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. You're already enough for what he's asked you for. And that's that aspect. Just be present, be mindful, and be purposeful in everything we do. And yeah, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to be imperfectly perfect. We're going to fail forward. And you know what? That's the amazing aspect of it, is we get to do it tomorrow.
Yes.
When we get that. So with that, we're going to wrap things up. It's been super awesome to be here.
Ryan.
Thank you, Lisa. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. You visit us at all our social media, Ryan T. Reichert, or
Lisa Sander.
and get after it every single day. Love you.